Welcome to the Alison podcast, where high-achieving women elevate their identity, expand what's possible, and create a life of true abundance. I'm Alison Howard. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast, or if you're viewing on YouTube. Today, we are continuing a conversation that is incredibly important if you desire more in your life. So I think we all desire more, right? Whether it's more income or more opportunities or more peace or more love, more visibility, more responsibility. I don't know anybody who really wants more responsibility, but sometimes, right? Sometimes we do. And so I want to talk about how to increase your capacity for more without overwhelm or burnout. And most of the women that I work with one-on-one and in my group setting, my community, have experienced some type of overwhelm or burnout, which is why they are wanting to work with somebody who can help them reduce that while increasing what it is that they are doing in their lives and businesses that create joy and the results they want with doing less. So I want to talk about that today because while many women focus on how to get more, I would say very few actually understand how to hold more. Those are two different things, right? Getting and holding. And this is where so much frustration comes from because the way that I see it play out as I'm coaching these women is someone will come to me. She wants more. She's been praying for more. She's been working so hard for more, but her internal world just doesn't feel safe holding more. And so she either blocks it or she delays it or she unintentionally will create some type of patterns in her life that push it away. So she'll self-sabotage. So today I want to talk about capacity and what it is, why it matters, how to expand it in a way that feels really good, that feels sustainable and grounded and aligned. Because one of the biggest, I think, misconceptions is that receiving more will automatically feel good. And yes, it does. But the common things that I hear is more money is going to help me feel relieved, and more success is going to help me feel empowered. And more visibility will feel exciting. And yes, that is true. It does. Sometimes it does feel that way. But often what happens, especially at first, is that more of those things feels unfamiliar. And most people, when they do elevate, when they are in a season of ascension, they feel that lack of familiarity and it feels really uncomfortable. And so they start to pull back, they start to self-sabotage because they haven't learned yet how to hold more. Because this is the truth. And if you've done this in your life, you know this, more responsibility always will feel heavier. It just does. And more attention, if you're trying to grow your social media or a podcast or a business, whatever you're doing, more attention can feel a little bit exposing. And more income, although it's so exciting, I've seen it time and time again, it can feel very destabilizing if you have not yet built the internal safety system to be able to hold it. So what many women interpret as I'm not ready or something is wrong is actually their system responding to something new. That's all it is. And so it's important to understand the difference between capability and capacity. So let me break down those two things, okay? So capability is your skill. Capability is your intelligence level. It is your ability to perform in whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're an entrepreneur, and yes, most of the women I work with are entrepreneurs. But it doesn't matter what career you're in, what it is that you're doing. Your capability is your intelligence level, your skills, your ability to perform. Capacity is your ability to hold the experience of whatever it is that you're creating. So you can be a fully capable person who, let's just say, runs a business at a higher level. You can be fully capable of receiving more money or of stepping into leadership roles while simultaneously lacking the emotional or nervous system capacity to actually sustain it. And when the capacity is not there, the experience or growth can feel very overwhelming and chaotic and draining, and we decide we quit. Can't do it. We thought we wanted that level, we got there, it felt awful, and so we pull back and we pivot. I've seen this happen so many times. Many women unintentionally limit their own expansion. And it's not because they don't want more, it's because their system is just trying to maintain stability. And your mind and body are designed to keep you within the boundaries of what feels familiar, of what feels safe. So if your baseline is stress overthinking everything, always feeling urgent, everything is an urgent matter, and self doubt, then stepping into a life that requires calm, certainty, visibility, and leadership, it's going to feel like such a stretch for you. And without realizing it, you might procrastinate. You might overcomplicate situations. You might pull back and isolate. You might create unnecessary pressure. And it's not because you're incapable, has nothing to do with capability. It's because your nervous system isn't calibrated yet for that level. So it's about capacity. So there was a time in my own life, many times actually, where I desired more in business or in life, whatever it was. So maybe it was more income, maybe it was more clients, maybe it was more impact or more expansion, more reach. But I noticed that when things did begin to grow, because I was white knuckling it, action will grow, I felt tension instead of ease. I would overthink every single decision. I would feel this pressure to perform, to be on all the time. I would question whether I could sustain it or not. And what I came to understand is that it was not about learning more strategies. I knew the strategies. I knew how to grow business. I was doing that. And so I started really studying my own capacity to feel safe in growth. And I wanted to start creating new beliefs around growth as well. I wanted to believe that growing business, that growing income, that growing impact required a whole lot less effort than what I was actually outputting. And what I found is that as I began to stabilize my own internal state, as I began to make decisions around choosing calm, choosing to trust myself, choosing steadiness, the growth that I was experiencing stopped feeling overwhelming and it started to feel really natural. And that's what I help women do. There is nothing more stressful than spending all of your energy on growing your business or your career only to get to a point where you are so burned out you cannot enjoy it and you don't know how to scale and grow any further without losing your mind. And so there is absolutely an easier way to go about that where you are receiving more income, you're creating more impact in the lives of others while also creating a life that matters most to you so that you aren't spending, countless hours on your work, on your business every single day so that the business is working for you so that you can actually enjoy your life. It is possible. Capacity is not built through force. It is built through consistent expansion and through very simple, consistent expansion. First, the first thing you need to do is you need to begin noticing where you feel tension around the idea of receiving more. So, where do you feel pressure in your life? Where do you feel urgency? Where do you feel like you need to hold it all together? Okay, those are questions to answer and to get clear on. The second thing that you need to do is you need to practice staying present while you're in this expansion phase. So instead of rushing past the growth phase, allow yourself to experience it without bracing, without recoiling, without constricting. Third, you must, and this is they're all really important, but this is a non negotiable. You must regulate your nervous system intentionally every single day. We live in a stressful world. I don't know if you're married, if you have kids, what type of work you do, but I know for me, there are a lot of demands. There are just a lot of demands on my time. I have 3 children. I own this business. I have clients. I have different things I have to do in my life, right? All of these things. And so every single day, it has to be a daily practice to regulate your nervous system because otherwise you are a stressed mess, right? I know I am. So this can look like slowing down. It should look like slowing down. And I don't want to should all over you, but I'm going to should. Okay. This should look like slowing down. Choosing intentionally moments when you can slow down in your day, when you can breathe, when you can go outside and just put your feet in the grass and do a little bit of grounding, and when you can get out in the sunshine for a few minutes, taking care of yourself the way that we take care of our children. I remember when my kids, I could tell they were starting to feel stressed or chaotic when they were little. I would send them outside. They needed some sunshine. They needed to go run around and sweat. They needed to put their toes in the grass. They needed to just take a break in nature. We need those things too. We need to parent ourselves the same way we parent our kids. So simply allowing yourself to feel without reacting is really important. To just take a beat, to be quiet, to tune into yourself, to tune into source, to God. How are we able to have any type of like Holy Spirit downloads when we're just so chaotic and stressed all the time. And the fourth thing that must happen is anchoring into truth. As a woman of faith, I know for me, this means reminding myself that I'm not carrying everything alone, that there is a steadiness available to me that is not dependent on my performance, that I serve a good and big God who desires more for my life than I could ever desire for myself. And so I need to trust in that. So when your capacity increases, something shifts. The big shifts I have always noticed is the chasing. You stop chasing things. You stop forcing everything and controlling everything. You stop feeling like everything is so fragile and such an emergency. Instead, you become steady. And steadiness is what allows growth to sustain itself. You are no longer trying to hold everything together. You are able to be with what you are creating. And from that place, expansion becomes not only possible, but actually very, very natural. So, if this conversation is hitting you in the heart, if you're like, okay, these are the things that I need to do to grow and be able to hold growth, to have the capacity to do that without feeling burned out or overwhelmed, if you feel that you are ready for more, but you want to experience that growth without that burnout, I want to invite you to join me live. So, I am holding a 3-day Zoom event on April 8th, 9th, and 10th, and I would love for you to be there. We're going to be walking through a lot of identity, belief, embodiment, expanding your capacity so you can truly hold your next level, so that you can grow this business, that you can increase your incomes, that you can scale and bring on a team if that's what you're wanting to do. So you can move forward in your career, whatever it is that you're wanting, your life, your business, love, all of those things. So you're going to find the registration link in the show notes. I would love for you to be there with me live. It's so much fun. But I want to remind you that you are not limited by what you are capable of. You are only limited by what you currently feel safe holding. Okay. And the beautiful thing is, our capacity can grow. That is something that we can do intentionally. You are allowed to have more. Um, and as I say every week, go today and be the woman that your future is waiting on. I know that you can do it, and I am excited to cheer you on. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until the next episode, go and be blessed. I hope that you will. Bye bye.